and it will happen. It'll take a little bit of time to do it, but we will get there. We can go to Canada. So we need to start sending some stuff up to Sasha. Just the problem is border control. So anyway, yeah. So I know all about that because Sasha lives pretty close. Go ahead.
But Len, I tell you, we have Ketul and he's from Maryland, and I think he can buy the product from dollar store.
Say that again.
So Ketul, we have Ketul with us, and he is in Maryland right now, and I think
in
dollars
Maryland.
to supply.
Maryland, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so I can go to this dollar store and buy stuff. Whatever.
Yes, but this is online, and we deliver right to your house. So
That's interesting. I never heard about dollar store goes online.
Right, and it's a special store. The company started in India. It's been in business for 24 years, and here in the United States decided that it was time to do it online. So I'm the owner of one of the online stores. You don't have to live in Pennsylvania where I live. You can live in Maryland. You can live in California. You can live in North Carolina. Unfortunately, right at the moment, unless you have plans to come here to the United States, we can't have it delivered to India because that would be too expensive, where Ankit is. And I like to kid about going to Canada because my daughter lives very close to Sasha in Toronto, and we're always laughing about the fact that anytime she sends us something or we send her something, Border Patrol hangs it all up, and then who knows when you're going to get it. So, but no, so we have discounts just for you becoming signing up to be a customer. You get a $5 discount. Ankit, where are you when we're talking about the $5 bill?
Just looking for my $5 bill. Let me bring it.
He's going to find his $5 bill. He usually lifts it up and goes like this, okay? And then you order $25 worth of stuff. Shipping is free right to your house. And then because you got the $5 discount, you're only going to pay $20, and you get all these great products that we have. We have name brand products. I can't control the screen. Oh, there it is. See? So the $5 bill. Oh, no, don't, Ankit. Yeah.
So question for you. How about the price between the dollar store online versus like any other, online stores like Amazon's or any other like Walmart.com? Like, what is the price difference between both of them?
Well, that depends upon the product. So as Kimberly was saying, we have a product. None of the four of us who are on here right now would worry about having wrinkles in our skin, but people like Kimberly worries about wrinkles, but she doesn't have any. So she's been working on that for a while. But women worry about the wrinkles. So we have a wrinkle product. Amazon sells it exactly identical product. Amazon sells for $67. We sell it for $4.99. $67, $4.99. Plus, they charge another $4 for shipping. So for us, we do free shipping if you order $25. So you can actually order 5 of those products, get a $5 discount, have it shipped to your house for free, and you're still paying something less than 1/3 of what you would pay for one of them at Amazon, including the shipping.
That's good, Lynn. Yeah, that's very reasonable compared to the other stores. Yeah,
it is. And we have Kimberly will talk about. She likes the face masks. Okay, that women will put on, and she'll get them over the counter. And sometimes the over counter when she pays $20 or $25 for them, and we have them on our site for a couple of dollars. I think $2 or $3. I'm not sure which. But
I must tell you that, right after this call, I'll try to sign up for.
you should do that. You should do that.
Yeah, definitely. As long as like we don't really care, like, as long as we need product, right? And if it's available on your side, and if it's like reasonable and, save money for the consumers, right? Then that's all matters, right?
But, well, there are three things that matter here. Okay. Maybe four. Number one, we deliver to your house.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Unless you live in a community like I do, and I have to go to the post office because we don't have mail delivery. Okay. Small community. Okay. Number two, we're cheaper. Okay. So it's helping people who are trying to close the gap between poverty and financial sustainability. They're able to save money. But number three, we donate half of our profit to the owner of IBM TV, which is Money Masters, to support the mission of financial education and financial fitness, okay, for people, because we believe in that mission. So it's a win-win-win, and why not sign up? So
definitely, yeah, I agree completely.
All you do is go to the IBM.TV site, okay? Click on the green button, and if you happen to be colorblind like my father was, it's round. We make it easy, and you click on the button, and you'll go right to the store. You can sign up as a customer immediately. You get, where is it, Ankit? What do you get when you sign up to be a customer? Here he comes. $5 discount. There you go. And then place your first order. Oh, and by the way, every time you shop, you get another discount. Okay. So it's for every $10, it's an additional $1 off of your next purchase.
Yep.
So there you go.
And so it's very easy to shop because you have to pay online. It's an online payment gateway which is there on Dollar Store. And Lynn, I would introduce Ketul. He's from the online payment industry and he understands how the payment works online. And we'll be discussing about the payment gateways and how the payment will work. So Ketul.
Yeah, Lynn, so I work in the payment industry, right? So all the credit card payments,
e-commerce. Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, and basically we understand how to take payments, with whatever like different transaction types or different payment options. Like for example, on your store, right? Basically, you have right now is like the card payments, like you enter the card number,
right?
And you basically store the card on file, and then run every time when you buy stuff on your store, right? Mm-hmm. You're gonna send that same card number to the bank and process the transaction, right? But there is a lot more other things that the payment options available who can do like a lot more other things compared to not only the card number that pass from one point to the other point, but a lot of other identity. Like for example, me, as like I mentioned in the last call that we had, that me who I am, right? So it doesn't matter. You don't need to send the actual card number from your dollar store online to all the way to the processor who process that payment. You can send one like a random number that basically linked to my profile, right?
Oh, wow.
That number float basically from one point to the other point. So, you don't need to float your card number or customer's card number every time when they buy stuff. And that is the other advanced industry. And that is what I think the reason what I wanted to talk about is more about the cashless industry, how the cashless payments work. So like if I ask you a question, right, what is the cashless payment? So everyone knows the answer. It's like basically you don't need to carry your cash, right? All cash, you can still buy stuff.
Right.
But there are a lot of other use cases that basically linked behind the cashless industry. Like for example, if I tell you like, how do we make the city like completely cashless? So there are a lot of ways to do that. First, we have to understand what is the normal human being do, right, on the day-to-day basis, right? So like, for example, you wake up, you get ready, now you have to go to the work, right? So now you either you can take your own car, or you can rent a bike, or you can take a taxi, or you can take a bus, right? So
Right.
the other option, that is the first use case. Now, let's say you don't have anything and you were planning to rent a bike. Now, first use case is like you have to open your phone, search the location where the nearest bike available for rent, right? So that's the number one use case. Then let's say you find the bike location. Now you went there. Now how to get that bike, right? For rent. Basically, you again open the phone, scan something or contactless or whatever the way you
Right.
you basically unlock that bike. That's the second use case. The third use case is, again, you dock that bike back, that now you don't need it. So basically you close that transaction, right? That is, again, you have to open the phone and end the transaction. So that's the third use case. Now the fourth use case is, let's say you are near the office and like you wanted to have a coffee, right? How do you do that? I'm talking about like the normal basic use case that normal human being do.
Right.
So the fourth use case is like, let's find the coffee shop, right? So what is the nearest coffee shop available? And then you go there and buy a coffee. So now it's a fifth use case. How to make the payment? Again, you open the phone, make the payment because you don't have any cash with you, right? The sixth use case is like, say during the lunchtime, you again go out for the lunch.
Right.
And let's say you buy a lunch, again, same thing. So 7 and 8 use cases are like exactly the same as you bought the coffee. Now the ninth use case is like at the end of the work, you're gonna go out for the happy hour with your colleague, right? Now again, you search for the place and you went there. Now you're waiting for the waiters to come to your, table.
Right.
Take order. You don't need to wait. Let's say, there is a QR code sitting on the table. All you have to do is scan, and the entire comes to your phone. Right. You order online, right, and then the food will be served at your table without even waiters. Like, waiter didn't come take your order. It's, process on the back end. So that is like 10 and 11 use case. And then finally make the payment. You don't need to worry about the split tender or anything because everything you order is online from your card or card on file, right? You are, and you're not splitting with anyone. So technically, everything is like, pretty fast and easy. So like, these are like the basic 12 use cases that like normal human beings do.
Right.
Now the point is, yeah, Ankit, go ahead. Sorry.
Ketul, I'll add one more use case. So, Lynn, what happens in India? Suppose me and Ketul are going out to walk, and I'm not carrying cash. So I will transfer an online payment to Ketul, and Ketul will give me cash. That happens in India.
Yeah, and here
you think I'm going to do that, Ankit? Do you think I'm going to transfer cash to you?
I think so.
But here we are talking about the cashless, right? So technically, you don't need to worry about like giving cash or payout.
I'm just telling you that there is one more instance where Indians they don't use ATM and they do these kind of transactions to take cash.
Yep. So back to the thing that these are like the 12 use cases, 12 or 13 use cases that normally people for the payments, right? Now here the interesting part is, what is the cashless industry? So basically, like, I didn't carry cash, but I still carry my plastic card. And I can achieve everything, this 12 use cases, with my plastic card, right? Or I didn't carry the cash, I didn't carry my plastic cards, but everything achieved through the QR code payments on my phone. I can still achieve all those like 12 use cases that I explained. So what is the difference between these two? So the difference is, and basically it's linked to Lean's earlier discussion, that basically the difference is like when you carry your plastic card, you every time, like when you insert your card or tap your card, right, as a contactless payment, you basically floating that card number from one place to the other place.
Correct. Right.
It's encrypted, point encryption, P2P, DSS, secure, anything, but it's your card number is floating from one place to the other. On the other side, when you actually use the QR code payment, right, that your QR code is floating from one place to the other. And that QR code, you can design the way you want. It shouldn't have like the payment information in it. It could be like any random number that you encrypted to make a QR code that is basically associated with you. So that is actually more secure, that your QR code is floating every time you buy something or you use something, compared to the card number. And that is exactly what we should do, for you, or any online payment, that how do you know your customers better, and that is what you can know by their the shopping experience, what they actually buy online, how they make the payment, where they actually go out and spend. And that is actually basically like micromanagement, in terms of your customers very well, that what actually they are looking for or what they like. And basically like that is what your payment engine will work, in that way. Like so like your online sorry, I'm a little bit distracted with a lot of phone calls that I have. So your online payment, right? How do you take the payment from the customer? That is also very important part, because once you have like that many customers sign up for, your store, and then they start shopping, you have to make sure that you understand your customers well. And you don't need to float their card numbers every time when they buy something, right? And that is happening right now a lot. But especially there are a lot of other countries who are like completely going cashless, digital, where the card number is like completely disappeared from one point to the other.
Interesting.
Lot of very interesting thing that when you deep dive into like the transaction point of view, you try to understand more that what exactly how the payment works from one place to the other.
So Ketul, can we do something for Dollar Store that people who have registered as a member, they just have to put one time a transaction, and then every time they will buy stuff, it's a cashless transaction. They don't have to put the card number and things like that.
That is already happening in
yeah, whenever they will buy, they'll get an OTP and they will confirm the OTP, and that way they'll buy stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, and that is so. See, everyone is doing that today. Like Walmart, Amazon, any online, the e-com industry, right? They all have like you have to put your one-time card number, or card information, and basically they save your card on file. And then every time you buy something, they run a card on file transaction, right, on your behalf. But what I was explaining is like, that how do you secure that card on file transaction, right? So as you mentioned that, you send like one type of code on their phone, or like a fingerprint or like a facial recognition, right? Which confirms that this is the customer who's initiating everything, right? And, that is the e-com experience, right, that you can do. But that is also like based on the customer's habit. You can know like what exactly they are looking for, or what they like, what kind of product they are interested, everything like by the experience you do. But the payment has like, we are talking about here the e-com industry, where like you don't have different use cases. Everything is available on your website, and all the customers have to go click the product and buy. But there's the other use cases when you actually go out in the world and try to use your QR payment, how that works. So that is like two different use cases. But definitely we can. There is a way to do like that card on file transaction works on normal basis. And I'm not sure. Like probably I have a question for Lynn. Like, what is exactly happening at the Dollar Store online, where the customer one time they say the card information and then the transaction process every time?
They put in the card, and and I'm part of a larger company, so I'm not. I don't create the billing system, okay?
Mhm.
And I can always put you in touch with the person that created the billing system. But the fact is, when you become a customer, okay, you sign up to become a customer. You don't put your card in until you go to buy something. Of course, you go to your cart, you check out, and then you select your rewards that you're going to get, and then you put your card in. And your card stays there. So the next time you buy, it's set up so that as a recurring as a next purchase, you don't have to put that information in. So
Exactly.
which is the way most systems work.
Yep. And but how do we make sure that I am the one who's initiating that transaction the next time?
Well, you have to have a password to get into your account. So I wouldn't call it second level encryption, but it's like additional encryption because you can't buy a product unless you can get into your account. So yes, somebody could come in and they could basically they could use your account if they knew your password. So yes, they could.
So what the vision that I'm thinking, like maybe the world is gonna go in that direction, like managing all these different passwords, right, is also a challenge, right? And
it is.
Imagine like you have like 10 websites that you normally use to buy stuff, right, or groceries online. You have to manage all those passwords. So the thing is like let's say like everyone's agree, right, all the different merchants, and let's have like remove all the passwords, and every time you make the transaction they do your fingerprint scan, or like something like that basically like more secure to take the payments, and then you don't need to worry about your the ID password, because anytime you go, based on your search criteria or based on that information, it will show all the products that you are interested to buy. And then during the payments, all they confirm is like facial recognition or the fingerprints, and that is like basically unique. Or in India, like recently they started with the Aadhaar card. It's like one kind of a green card number, right, in America. So they have in India that is called Aadhaar card. So they basically, you can pay through Aadhaar card number. So, what I'm thinking is like going forward, it should be like very, standard process that, everyone should adopt, and not to have like that many complications on even like online or in the store or retail or lodging or any other industries. Like it should be like very standard that, I am the person, I come in, either whether I come e-com or whether I go to the physical store, it should be very standard process. And all I care is like, me and I want this product, now give me the product and take the payment, right? And then on the back end, that is what I think that, the future is gonna be in the payment, because everyone is like trying to do more advanced. Like recently I saw that, I'm sure you based out in Pennsylvania, right? You mentioned, Lynn.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, right.
Yeah. So probably you heard about the company like who actually delivers the gas to your house. And that is also e-com. So you don't need to actually go to the pump, to fill up the gas on your car.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. You can search on Google, and you find the name. But that is also very interesting. Now, how do they take the payment, right, for your payment?
Right. Sure.
You don't want your card, right, your payment card to register everywhere that service, because if let's say if tomorrow if one company compromise the data, right, you have to worry that your card information might be there, or other side the other compromise the data, you also have to worry. So I don't want to have that headache all over because my card information is everywhere in all the different channels. So the best part is like, how do we eliminate that entire sign up or sign in, and then have like, more advanced way of taking the payments and providing service. That is what I'm thinking now, especially because we follow like, the trend that in America, especially, that, like, for example, before we had a cash tenders, then we started using the swipers. But on the other part of the world, which already use the swipers for the credit cards, and then in America we build the chip in, like, which is a, the chip card, which has already been like old in other countries. And then again, now like contactless and Apple Pay, which is like, for example, India already has a, that method of the payments. And now again, there's a newer thing, which is like the QR code payment, which is already available in India, right?
Yeah.
At this moment as we speak. So how do we like get more advanced, more thinking ahead compared to like, compared to like follow like some other footsteps? So that is what, it's an interesting topic, to discuss about.
That's an interesting discussion, and that's why we have Ketul with us talking about payment and what are the future ways to get paid. And Nicole is always interested in the payment section. So Nick,
always interested in fintech.
Fintech, yeah.
Fintech is a big industry and very profitable industry. You have to think about it. All these transactions, 5% goes into fintech. Okay, and at first I go, well, 5%, that's not very much. But then we start doing 100,000 transactions, there's 5,000. Somebody's going to get paid. Or it's the credit card company, the person who designed the system, people are going to get paid. When that do 1 million, well, there's 50,000 going into fintech. See, you do 10 million, there's 500,000 going into fintech. Yeah. So guys like Ketul, he's not stupid. He knows that there's money in fintech. Okay, because
especially if you heard Nick, the company called WeChat, right, which is very famous.
Sure.
In China and other parts, and especially in the US now, it's like more advanced now. The Chinese customers pay through WeChat. You know how many transactions they did?
I have no idea. Nope.
Only in China is 5.7 trillion transaction last year.
Yeah. Well,
so can you imagine like 1%?
Sure, that's the name of the game. Even if they get 1% of the transactions, it becomes a really, very, very profitable business, and that's where PayPal made their mark was in the fintech industry. But there's some other people that we've met with who's made their mark in fintech. As a matter of fact, there is a whole show in Las Vegas. I don't know if you've been there, Ketul. The Money 2020. Yeah.
So this year probably is canceled, but waiting for next year to go.
Oh, really? Okay. What city are you in?
I'm in Glen Burnie city, is like close to Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay, you're on the East Coast. Okay, right. So it's not a big trip to go to Las Vegas and meet all the competitors, as I would say.
Yeah, I've been to High Tech one time, and I've been to like a lot of district meetings that the customer have, like like district meetings, or IAG and the Marriott's seminars, and also I attended all those. And but I'm excited for I was actually excited for this year, like 2020, to attend all those a big payment platform where people talk about it. But then because of this COVID situation, it's just like kind of dead. Yeah. But waiting for next year now, to attend and talk more about.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a big industry, and it looks like because we're in such a consumer world where people like to spend money on things and transactions. The middleman sits there and $100,000 transaction takes place. I mean, they make $5,000. Like I said, if you do $1 million, they make $50,000. Do 10 million, you made 500,000. Well, now you don't make all that because you got to split it through all these different systems. But
there's a lot of other back-end systems involved, But the main part is how do we how do we make it like more secure and like, more well known in the industry, because there are like so many players available, to do that, right? So you have to create your own brand, like, where the customer trusts you with
Right.
this. And that is exactly like, my whenever I talk to any customers, like, it's very straightforward that, I make sure to make them understand, like, what exactly the transaction, works, how the transaction works. And that is the only thing that, I talk about. It doesn't matter if it goes to this company or that company or anywhere. Make sure that they understand the cost. All the
you want to keep the customer happy because you get 5% of everything they make. What can you do?
That's true.
By the way, there was a guy we interviewed whose name was Tom Vellante. You may run into him. He founded Yapstone. He's been on our show. As a matter of fact, he's on the Money Master show. Runs right now on IBM TV because he runs continuously, and he does 16 billion a year, maybe 18 right now, in payments. Okay, now if you go do the math. I mean, 5% of 18 billion, he's got some money coming in the door. Okay. Now here's the deal with that. For him to get there, of course, he's been doing this for 20 years. But the thing is, what happened is he started a long time ago. With he got in the business early and wanted to find a niche. His niche market was getting real estate, people who rent real estate, to use a payment system. Okay. Now, back 20 years ago, they didn't want to. They wanted checks because they knew, hey, look, 5 points come off. I'm not going to take that. But over a period of time, he got all the apartment complexes to move over to payments. Well, then he got involved in something called VRBO, Airbnb, and back officed all their payments. And then all of a sudden now he has 18 billion a year in payments he's processing. Well, like I say, go do the math. That's not a bad business to be in, because you get a percentage of everything that everybody spends, basically. So anytime I look at payments, I go, okay, that's a percentage. Now, since I own and operate a business and we have to make those, we accept credit cards and checks. Okay, I always like to check rather than credit card because of that. But at the same time, Ketul, okay, you go, hey, look, it's a cost of doing business and a cost of collection. In other words, collecting accounts can be a real problem. So sometimes at 5 points, you go, I'd rather give it 5 points than, because I know now it becomes a collectible account. I don't have to mess with it. So from that standpoint, now from your standpoint, the real issues, I guess, is cybersecurity on all these. How do you keep people from, how you say, stealing your credit card and your identity? What are you doing on cybersecurity?
So what the next information that what I'm thinking of is like, having like a temporary QR code, right? So basically, like, that
I'm gonna have to
is available like only for like, for like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, that is available, right? And all you have to do is like, do your business, right, or to take the payments and everything, and then basically that QR code is unavailable, after that. So basically nobody can actually steal that information, because it's, even though if it happens, like, it's completely useless. So when you as a customer or as a merchant, right, or as a business owner, right, you have to, first of all, like, you have to take the money from the customers, or you take payments. But you don't want all those data to store in your system, because that's the other headache, right? And nobody can get into that part. But still, you have to know your customer. So this is what it is like, when the payment happens, it's that the code is only available for, 5 minutes or whatever the duration that, you wanted to set, and that you finish that payment through that code, and basically that code is unavailable after that. So none of your data is there in the system. Nobody can hack, right? Or even though if they hack, it's completely useless.
It's useless because it's a one-time code.
It's one-time code, and you don't want like too much information to float around. So like, for example, let's say now people have a question like, when the customer come to my location or my hotel, and if I have to pull up the profile, how can I do that, right? So basically, you don't need that profile available 24/7. All you that profile is available when the customer is in front of you, right? When you have to take the payments, or when something is related to that customer, only that profile comes up, right? So how does that come up? So basically, like that one number that you punch in or like scan something, right? And that goes all the way from one place to the other, take the entire profile and throw it on your screen. So you see everything, whatever is required. And then that profile is disappeared after that. So it's not there. It's very secure. And like, for example, like, I saw that one of the, I think you mentioned about like that, who in the real estate, like, who actually rent out the property, right? The renting places or the complexes where they actually rent out the apartment. Right. I saw a very advanced in Spain or somewhere, like where they have the QR code, sitting on their front door of each apartment. So when due date comes for the rent, all you do is scan that QR.
That is very clever.
And so there is no office, there is no other paperwork involved.
That is very clever. Yes. I didn't know that. I've never seen that. That is pretty clever, though.
It is, yeah. And it's surprisingly, like, work very well, because, every time, like, you see that QR code, that reminds you that, your rent is due also. And when the rent is due, you can take the payment very easily from the customers right in front of that, door. Just scan that, the payments, and everything is done. The entire business is done within like 5 minutes. And basically nothing is available on your data, neither on your property data nor anywhere. It's basically stored somewhere else. You only get the confirmation message saying like, oh, you get your rent.
Right.
And really that's your tracking information.
Okay. So Ketul, what is the name of your company?
It's a Shiji Group.
Shiji Group. Do you have a website?
Yeah, I can.
Can you share your screen, or do you know how to work that thing? To share your
screen? I'll put that on the chat.
Yeah, but we could look at it right now if you could share your screen. You got to go below. You'll see share screen.
Oh yeah, I got it. Let's see.
And then if you're good enough, you'll be able to figure out how to work that, which is something I'm not really great at. This way people can see your website. Okay, there we go. We're getting close.
All right, so let's see.
Done, 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 done.
Let me know once you see the screen.
Well, right now I see a blank screen. Oops, now I see Shiji Payment Solutions.
I'm doing it, so don't worry.
Oh, you're doing it, Ankit? Yeah, see, Ankit knows how to do all that stuff. Okay, Payment Solutions.
So this is so Shiji Group. It's a global company.
Right.
They have a lot of products and different departments, and then so they have like a point of sale systems, property management system for lodging, and then they have an e-com called MyCheck. So you can, lot of big customers are on MyCheck as well. And then Review Pro, where you actually get customers review and who manage all the reviews. So that is also one of the product that we have. And then we have Shiji Payments, which is like basically I belongs to. America, so North America, South America, Latin America, our entire business of that for the payments is handling by me and Michael Balzer. His boss, he sits in Germany. He's a vice president of Shiji Payments globally. So the whole Shiji Payments works with like we are like a middle layer or integrator like between like property management system and the processors, or like a merchant service providers. So we act as a gateway, or more like managing like a middle tier integrators. And it's all over the world. We have businesses in Australia, Hong Kong, Singapore, America, Mexico. Everywhere we have the customers, and all the big customers in America, like all the stadiums, like Mercedes-Benz stadiums in Atlanta, or we also process those transactions as well.
Really?
Yep.
So like if I went to Mercedes-Benz Stadium and I went to buy something, you're processing those payments there.
Yep. So that transaction we process.
Okay, so you do work with a lot of businesses in terms of.
We have a lot of partners. Yeah, so front end partners and back end partners. We have a lot of partners that we work with, like First Data, Alevon, TSIS, all those like back end partners. We have front end like NCRs and other. So it's or we also have our Shiji group products available as well.
So does CG like let's say you own a business, because I own a business out in Salt Lake, and they set up to receive payments on credit cards, okay, which we did a couple of years ago. Would your company be one that would work with our business to actually set up the credit card?
Yep. So we can. Yep. So we can basically take your location and help with like the devices, what you need, or whatever kind of like the payment options that you require. We can take that, we can process to your merchant service provider that you, let's say like you have a account at Bank of America or your financial accounts, then we can take care of entire transaction. So or we also sell the point of sale system or the property management system as well, if you don't have and you're like thinking about it. So we do like all kind of like products available that
well how much CG, how much payments do you guys process?
So we have if you talk about like all over the world, I think I mentioned some numbers in the past, like, but in the US, like we are like rapidly growing. So if like if the Mercedes-Benz stadiums on the football season, right, every home game, how many customers are there?
A lot.
So that is all we process. So we have like the biggest customers that we have, plus the Hyatt hotels also process like some of their sites with us for the transactions, that they are also like very big in the industry, like like short payment industry. So we have big numbers that we process. I don't have like exactly number on top of my.
Is your company private or public?
It's not a public yet.
It's not public, so it's privately held.
Yeah, CG Group is in public. Yeah.
Oh, it's CG Group is public.
It's public, yeah. I guess.
It's based out of China.
Yeah,
out of
China.
Okay. Well, I mean, the thing is, it could be out of China, but publicly traded, or it could be out of China and it could be privately held. So, I was just curious. If it's publicly held, you have access to more information than if it's privately held. Privately held, tough to get information. But frankly, even a public company, a lot of information can't get a hold of it because it's considered trade secrets. Okay, in other words, there's some things they just don't want all their competitors to know about, and so they just don't broadcast it. But the thing is, the payment industry in of itself has been a very fast-growing industry, the fintech. And I think when I was at the Money Show a couple of years ago, they had like 11,000 people were there in Las Vegas. And I was shocked because I thought, okay, there'll be a couple thousand people here, 1 or 2,000. And if you go to our website, IBMTV.com, the first page, you'll see our interview with John Sculley, who used to be the CEO of Apple Computer. We met him at the Money Show. That's where we actually met him. And we filmed him at his penthouse. So it was pretty clever. And he actually was involved. The reason he was there is involved in fintech with a company called Lantern. I have no idea where it's at right now because there's so many of these fintech companies out there scouring the world, in terms of setting them up to receive payments. One of them had a very clever device that you could actually walk in a store with your cell phone or something like that and walk out with the goods and would automatically make all the payments for you.
Is it like you have to scan something, or
no?
You just walk in, you walk out, or you walk in, you order dinner, and you walk out. I'm not sure how that works. What?
So there are a lot of devices with a ring or a chip, maybe, and you just have to.
I don't know. Ketul will tell us when he goes to the Money Show next year.
Yeah, probably. I'm more interested to know about that. How?
Yeah, but in the Ketul in the restaurant industry, for sure, they walk in. They order, they walk out, they never touch a cash register, and everything's paid for.
So that is the other thing that I mentioned like earlier, that how the cashless trend works, right? So you don't want like the customer right, or the merchant to invest a lot of money on the devices and the computers and all that. Like, how can we go beyond that, situation where, like, the merchant doesn't want to involve anything on this, like all those devices, but still they're able to take the payments, and that is what the stack QR that is very popular, in India. So probably, like, it might be like, that is the case, like when you enter to the store and then, okay, take the product, scan it, and then leave. Like, for example, Apple Store, right, in US, right, they have that option available. Like, you can purchase online. You can just go to the store, right, and take the picture of your payment of the product, and then take the product, and you can leave. You don't need to go to any register. So that is a.
There's one more thing. There is one more thing, Ketul. So when we use a UPI in India, so whenever I order to a restaurant, they will share the confirmation that you have to pay this much on the time, and I just have to type okay. That's it.
Yeah, and that is what, like, they are the
I have to type okay. I'm not sharing any information. They already have my information. They will request for a payment. I just have to say okay, and payment is done.
Yep. So that is called, like, they are the one creating the entire request on your behalf, and all you have to do is confirm the request. Or there is the other side where, like, you are the one who's creating the request, like scan the product and, like, whatever the price, and then you throw the payment to their their account. So there are two ways you can do that. It's possible either or.
Yeah,
and like, probably, like, the next session, like Nick, Ankit, like, if we have like other the fintech guy, on the show, I would love to be on that, so we can discuss.
Yeah, I can see if we get Tom on.
Like, technical discussions about, like, how the system works. And I'm more interested towards the Nick mentioned that how they actually walk into the store, get the product.
I
know more about that.
I don't know exactly how the technology works. In other words, how they automatically know all the things that you purchased on the way out the door. There may be some SKU numbers, something that transmits so that they know what you bought. But the grocery stores and restaurants, in other words, walking in and walking out with products, it seems to me that's going to be the wave of the future. And cashless transactions, for sure. They did studies. Cash is actually, even though Ankit loves cash, matter of fact, he shows me what the United States is all about. Show me the American flag, Ankit, because he knows what the American flag is. Okay, there we go. That's the American flag. Now you know. Okay, the Benjamin. Okay, but see, the problem with cash, it's actually dirty. It contains a lot of germs, transmit a lot of diseases. It's not a good thing to have. Where if you can do a cashless transaction, it's actually cleaner and safer for people to do it for COVID-19 purposes and other purposes.
And also, like, you don't want to carry like too much stuff with you, when you go out. And that is the other thing that I'm not very comfortable with that. Like, so last year I'd been to like 4 countries, and I had like almost like less than $100 cash with me. Still, I was able to pay everywhere with plastic card. Right? You had to carry a card with you everywhere. That is also one of the headache that like you might lose someday or somewhere, and then you have to call the bank, stop that card, and all those like other things. So this is what the new trend is, like cashless, like go completely without plastic cards or the money, like dirty money.
Yeah, you don't want to carry dirty money. You want to carry the plastic cards. There's no question about that. I was in St. Petersburg, Russia, and I got pickpocketed. I was going like, and I knew all about the pickpockets. I mean, it wasn't anything unusual. But what happens? I put my hands up to take a picture of the St. Peter's and Paul Cathedral, and I got a bump. Boom! And I thought, oh no, I'm being pickpocketed. Pretty alert. Reached in, my wallet was gone. And these 2 guys get running off. I stopped one, but he didn't have it. The other guy must have had the wallet because I grabbed a hold of him and searched him. Okay, here's the problem, which you didn't know. I don't carry any cash. It was all credit cards, but I had all the numbers. I called him, canceled all my cards. He didn't get anything. So I was really a bad mark for him because I usually, when I travel, I don't carry any cash. It's all credit cards. So there's some advantage if you travel a lot to actually carry the cards. Another advantage, you know, is that they give you incentives on the other side, such as free flights. You get a lot of frequent flyer miles. You get cash back. Cash back, I'm not that interested in, but I get a lot of free flights. I like that stuff.
Yeah, but still you can achieve all that, you know, without having, you know, carrying the card, you know, like for QR codes or like card on file thing. You can still, you know, store your same card number, right? So you get all your miles and, you know, everything. But the thing is, like, you know, first we have to make sure that like the world adopts this new cashless trend, right? And it should be available everywhere, right? And how to achieve that, the other thing that, you know, only the payment side, like if you make it like more flexible to take the cashless transactions, but it doesn't solve your problem entirely. Like, you know, you have to make sure that the world is also adopting that technology, right? And like I was looking at like one of the countries that in 2012 they were like 60% transactions are like on the cash,
right?
And then right now it's like only 30% on cash.
Right, of course. Well, yeah, you know, I mean, even our company, we started accepting a lot more credit cards payments, and then I got the reports that it's costing us to accept the credit card payments. But the thing is, at the same time, at least it's a payment that rather than account receivable, and you'd rather have the money in the hand than the account receivable, which is maybe you get paid someday, maybe you don't. So it kind of is the way it is. Now, your company is it located in mainland China? The Shiji Payments?
Yeah, so we basically have offices in US. We have in Atlanta and Bethesda, Maryland, and have in Hong Kong we have other office, and then in China, obviously. So it's in Australia we also have one office there, which is like recently, and in Hollywood, Florida, that we recently opened a new. So it's like a globally.
Are you headquartered in mainland China? I guess that's my question.
Yeah, yes.
Which city in mainland China? Is it Shanghai, Beijing? There's like
I think it's in Beijing, China.
Beijing, China. Okay. Now here's my other question. Can they watch IBM TV in mainland China? Earlier today we had a lot of people from Hong Kong on. So I know in Hong Kong they watch us all the time. It's not a big deal. But